climb on. I think it's gonna be good. I think that's pretty much what I've been playing. It was a busy week once again.
All right, well, I forgot a game I had been playing, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I was playing something on PS4." So
Ah,
I was streaming Flower this morning as a palate cleanser because Mass Effect Gold. Ugh. And yeah, went through the whole thing in one thing, or yeah, in one sitting, and yeah, it's still awesome, nice, relaxing. Just let my worries go out the window as I sit here to be a pedal as it goes through the world, and it's all Kami-esque coloring in from the yeah. That was like it was just so cool to like play it on PS4 and to like see all the just everything is just over 9,000. It's like the little strands of grass and the color saturation, and just like the just vivid brightness of the different colors. And yeah, it was oh yeah, and also like the whole light on the controller, man. Like that, I think is like the one thing that like the PS4 is doing cool that is like nobody like really count like everybody like discounted like oh there's light in the controller, but like it does all thes cool things like when I'm
mm,
playing games now and I'm like noticing it because it's like there's like this flash of light. I'm like what's oh it's a controller. It's just really cool. There's this part in the Destiny Alpha when you're in this like dark hallway and then like your flashlight comes on and then like your PS4 controller lights up that same light. It's like oh, it's like super cool or just neat, I guess, because like controllers have just always been like a thing that just sits there as you play with. It's like how you're interacting with the game. It's not really an active experience in the game itself. So that's a cool little touch to like bring with it.
yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
Flower, still awesome. The music, the game itself, the experience, I loved it. I still love it.
I guess that reminds me that yeah, I did play one other thing, which was it's funny. Well, going on your controller thing, um, or I guess two things. So first of all, I was playing Towerfall Ascension at the after party, and it was really neat with the controller because the controller light turns into the color of the player that you are on the screen, which was really cool because things happen in Towerfall. It's sort of that it's a versus game, and it's like partially luck and partially if you're super good, then skill. And it's the type of game where when stuff happens to you caused by another player, you want to be able to turn to that player and be like, "Oh man," or if you did something to someone else, you want to be able to turn to that player and be like, "Haha, I got you." And yeah, the lights being the colors of the players on the screen was really awesome because it's an after party. I don't know most of these people. Before you'd have to ask who was that? Who was player two? Who was player two? You don't have to do that with Towerfall. You turn around and it's like, oh, there's the pink controller. It's like you. It was really awesome. That's my first experience playing Towerfall multiplayer. And four players. I don't know what the game mode was called, but basically the first person to 10 kills wins. But every time three players have died in a stage, it switches to the next stage. So I guess those would be like the rounds. So every round, uh, potentially everyone could get one kill. Well, except for one person. Three players could get one kill each in every round, and it gets really intense because later, the moment that the last person or the first person gets to 10 kills, then the game just ends and it doesn't, let you play out that round. And so with the lights, you can also look and say, oh, okay, the green has one kill left, and you look around, it's like, oh, it's that guy, and so everyone sort of gangs up on green so that the game doesn't end. It's just like, yeah, it was really awesome. I still feel like Towerfall, if it had online multiplayer, it would be great for us who don't have a bunch of local friends. But yeah, when you do have the local people to play with, it's like, oh, yeah. There's just so many little quirks and things in the mechanics that you can use, and the stages, they're crazy. Just tons of different things are happening in the stages, and it's really fun. You should check it out. But okay, so yeah, and finally, I guess the second thing about the controller, the speaker is really neat. It does lots of things, or certain games do lots of things with the speaker that make it, um, I don't know. It makes the games. It adds a little bit more entertainment to already entertainment based things. For example, like, do you usually play with the headset on?
Yeah.
See,
Actually, I always wear my To the Beach headset. If you're listening,
uh,
plug, plug, plug. Sponsor, sponsor. Maybe.
see, that's the thing. I am conflicted sometimes. Sometimes, I have a young daughter. She goes to sleep pretty early. That's the only time I can. When she's asleep is the only time I can play games. And so obviously, I would want to use the headset, right? But in certain games, it feels like I'm losing out on the full novelty of an experience if I'm using my headset because everything gets piped into the headset, even the stuff that would usually come out of the controller. So a few games that this is why I'm not finishing games because I want to play them, but every time I can play them, I'm afraid I'll wake my daughter, and so I don't play them because I don't want to wear the headset to play them. So Stick It to the Man is one of those. Usually, without the headset on, when you read people's minds, their thoughts come out of the controller or speaker. So from the TV, you're still hearing just the environmental sounds and stuff, and they're sort of muted. But that's all that's coming from the TV is like all the things that you're trying to listen to are coming from the speaker on the controller, which it's really cool. I think it's really cool. Transistor is like that. When you're playing Transistor, all of the speech from the sword comes out of the controller, and they do things like there's a part for a certain reason, which I won't say. It's the sword is speaking much more quietly, and then as you move, like it gets louder. And it's like, oh, that's so cool. And if it was just like coming from the TV, it doesn't have that. I know novelty has a bad connotation, but novel things are neat. Games, like, we want new experiences, and new experiences are new because they're novel, and this is novel. And so I don't want to miss out on those things, but sometimes it's a balance. Like, do I want to be able to play, or do I want to be able to play and have it be really, really novel?
Well, Tropical, you could always pretend like you're back in 1990s, and it's like, well, I have a rumble pack, but the batteries aren't charged, or the PS3 era, and it's like, well, I have a 6-axis, I haven't bought my DualShock yet, so I can't have the rumble in this game.
Does your screen even have speakers?
No, it doesn't.
You don't have a TV,
I
right?
do not have a
Yeah,
TV.
okay, so you have no choice.
Yeah.
Someday, man, you gotta check it out. Like, I guess, yeah, because in that case, you haven't seen any of it. You haven't seen any of those little things. Like Towerfall there's a lot of little sounds and blips that come out of the controller while you're playing, and it's really fun. Especially you're at this after party, you can't really hear the game from the TV or from the projector. Hearing it from the controller is like, oh, this works really well. Resogun is another game that uses the speaker pretty extensively. The save all humans and like human keepers detected and all that. Those sounds come from the controller, and so it's a really good alert, especially if you can't hear the TV. What other games do that? I guess, well, Metal Gear, not
That would be cool if
for
they,
some reason, not quite as
if
interesting.
when Phantom Pain does come out, if the codex calls came, that would be cool. It was like,
Oh,
that would be awesome.
right now it's just the map has been updated. Comes from the controller.
What is Kojima? So I'd expect
Like,
something.
well, yeah, hopefully. I guess briefly, like I checked out the Blue Estate demo. on PS4. It's a light gun game that uses the DualShock 4 for motion controls. Pretty cool. There's a lot to like about that game. The interesting mechanics. So the one that I thought was really fun was or not fun. It's sort of a nuisance, but it's a cool mechanic to be in a game. The character that you're playing in the demo has long hair. It's a male, but long hair in all directions. So sometimes his hair will fall over his eyes, and then you have to flick up on the touchpad to get the hair out of the way so you can see. But yeah, that pretty inventive. There's a lot of fun stuff. Blue Estate, check that one out too.
Ah, man, see, it's like I really need to get done with Mass Effect 3 because I want to do this like indie game showcase or like the not per se indie, but just like the non AAA showcase that like aren't getting like games that aren't getting like as much like exposure or like coverage on like traditional outlets, and like try to do that on our YouTube and stuff. So.
Yep.
Or at least on my channel or something. Yeah. It's like I have all these plans.
So I do have a question.
Alrighty.
You watched Evo, right? Evo was over the weekend.
I watched some of it.
Okay. How was it? Like, have you watched Evo in the past?
Yeah.
How was it?
Uh.
Okay. I guess that's too general.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, okay,
actually,
so
like for an answer like that, I'm like, what was like? It was like a good. It was a good tournament. Like I guess the quality of matches were better because I didn't really get to see that many of them, so I can't really. I saw a small sliver every day, so it was entertaining. That's for sure.
Yeah, I guess for me, I was watching I think it was the Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom finals with I think it was Filipino champ and Justin Wong.
Actually, it was Chris G and Justin Wong in the grand final. Or was that? Or were you watching something different?
Yeah, I haven't seen the grand final yet. I know Justin Wong.
Okay, that must be like sometime in the. They must. Okay, never mind.
But it was just man, that game is really fast, and I guess it really depends on the commentators. But I feel like they could do more with the education aspect. I mean, I guess my question is, if you're not already into these games, like where do you go to find out? You know, is there sort of an easy primer out there for people? It's like, okay, I want to watch Evo.
That's a good. Yeah, there are like guides and resources, but I don't think they're at the level that they could be to help someone that has like absolutely zero knowledge of games just like come into it and be able to enjoy it. Because it is just super overwhelming from someone approaching it from the outside. And like, yeah, the commentary like does a good job of like trying to like narrate the metagame as it's going on in real time, but it's just it gets so super crazy, especially with Marvel, dude. Like just
Yeah, that game's insane.
I was watching that and I was like, I will never be able to
characters.
play this game at this level. This is insane. Like if only. But that's like another thing that makes it so awesome to watch. It's like when you can see someone just like be so awesome, like just be like, man, that is just how can like a human do that?
See, my problem with Marvel was I could not tell. I was like, I mean, I assumed that they're good because this is Evo and they're in the finals, but I don't have any way to understand that. It's like I don't understand what's happening. I just know it's like, oh, okay, there's the combo meter over there, and it's in the 40s and the 50s, so that's good, right? But you have no idea. It's like how. Yeah, that's sort of what I'm getting at. It feels like, actually, it's what you said. There is nothing out there to get people not in the know.
Well, there is. It's just not
into the know.
It's not like super good at what it does. Because there was like this article that Polygon ran with like someone that put up this free guide, like try to understand it. But it's like it is such a tome of words of like I like sitting through that and reading that. It's like very off-putting compared to like someone like even if like you try to like make a video breakdown, it just would be like super condensed and just like super the depth of it and just so yeah, it'd be hard.
So how do you think they should do it? Like where the question that popped into my head earlier today when watching Evo is where is the esports version of Sports Center?
Hmm.
Where it's just like I don't know, you
Well, the thing is,
like
it's
with
like,
real
can
sports,
someone watch Sports Center with like a casual understanding of like sports and still?
I I think so. Like a lot of the highlights things, like you because I guess that's the difference. Like with real sports, we sort of have an understanding of what the human body is capable of because we all have them. And so when you see
It's also
these
kind of like the
inherently,
objective of the game is more clear and different. 'Cause it's like, okay, let's put
yeah,
this ball in the hole and it's worth this value, and then over the course of time, you try to get the higher score than your opponent,
yeah,
and you have a strategy that, or the teams have other strategies that they run to try to outscore the other one.
exactly. Like there's sort of a basic understanding of those things. But even with more specialized sports, I guess like figure skating and gymnastics, those things like nobody really understands those, I don't think. But every once every 4 years, everyone understands it, and so it's like, where is that in esports? Is someone trying to make that? Are they? Because like one thing that I noticed, well, Street Fighter is a lot slower, and Seth Killian knows everything about Street Fighter because he helped make it, and it was just like his commentary combined with watching those games. Like, oh yeah, I really understand the strategy and like what exactly this player capitalized on in order to go into the combo. Like the combo itself, I don't think is very interesting. Is like that's basically technical execution. It's about how
Actually,
did you get to
yeah, I
that
was gonna say, like,
point.
going back to like the analogy you made about like sports and stuff, like you could make that like a fighting game. You have like you have like the ranged characters, you have rushdown characters, you have like you try to keep away game or just like be up in their face and be like rush down with like super combos all the time. And so I mean to like the commentators, whatever they do like a good job of. I think they do like a good job of like every now and then like re-explaining some of that stuff. But I don't know.
Some of them.
Yeah, some of them, not all of them. But
Some of them I just watched and was like, oh, he's just basically saying, oh, get this good. Oh, and I was like, well, I could do that. But yeah, it feels like in well, even beyond fighting games like Call of Duty, if that's really an esport, someone has to make sense out of it for the viewer because oftentimes it's just like, well, there's blur and it's just blinding speed and everything is blurring and then oh, you're dead and it's like, well, I have no idea what's happening
I think
in Call of Duty sports.
another thing that kind of hamstrings esports is like there is no instant replay because it's all in real time and they never really give like a breakdown
Mm.
after the fact.
Yeah, that would be really helpful,
Because
I think.
that was probably, I think I read some article somewhere about like comparing sports and esports, and like that was one of the advents that made sports as a what's it called when you as a
So it's like a
spectator.
spectator
Yeah,
thing.
spectator.
Yeah.
Like as a spectator, it made it much easier to do with instant
Mm.
replay.
See, I wonder if that would be possible. I wonder, like, well, we know that instant replay exists as just a function of video things. How come is it? I guess one of the things is like, is esports really, really small? Is it put on by amateurs who aren't really, broadcasting? Yeah, I guess there's a lot of challenges. Like the broadcast people doing real sports, like they also have some understanding of the sports, right? So they also, it's not just the commentators who understand everything. It's, a lot of the production
Yeah.
has knowledge, so they know was like, oh, okay, we're gonna want an instant replay of that, and then if we put that replay, then the commentators will see it and they'll just be like, yeah, see, we are glad that the production people over there pulled this footage so we could talk about it again. Whereas in esports, and again, I guess Evo I'm not really too familiar with, so it's just I don't know. It's like, would that be possible? Are there enough people out there that they could put on a production like that and just make it more accessible? Because right now, there's a few games I can watch, and the rest of them is like, I don't know what's happening.
Actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because, like, making the sports center analogy, it's like back in the day, even if I didn't care about a sport and like the highlights were on sports center, I would still watch it. So, or even on
Yeah,
ESPN, I'd like sometimes watch something like I completely don't care about this sport, but I'm going to watch it just because it's like as a spectator, I just like want to see like what it's about. Like if you like see a equestrian just like randomly on, it's like what is this? Horses jumping over poles? Huh? Interesting. I must watch.
yeah. Sports Center. There should be an esports sports center. It would be really helpful right now because there's just not really one place for you to go for all the different esports. And I was like, if there was something like that where it was all highlights, and I haven't seen Sports Center in years, like whatever else is on Sports Center, then that would be really great. I would watch that probably. Who's gonna do it?
Not it.
I am sending out the call. Someone make it. I want esports Sports Center. ESC.
Esports center.
Escape. Esports Center.
Maybe ESPN could do it.
Yeah. Because I wanted to watch Evo. I was at this other thing and I came back and was like, oh, Evo's on, and so I started watching just video of the different matches and throughout the bracket and stuff. I was like, this is really hard to follow. Some of the commentators aren't that good. Some are okay. Some of the games are really fast and there's just no explanations. Yeah, there should be I think instant replay. They need instant replay to show us why that was good. It's like why that was amazing and why it was good.
Actually, it's a good point because like even on YouTube, it's like they don't really put up a highlight. It's just the full video of the match.
Yeah. Why? Do you think it's I read this article today about why Melee is still the Smash Brothers that they play in the pros, and how it's sort of at odds with the creator. Like his vision was, oh, fighting games are very exclusive, so we're gonna make an inclusive fighting game, and he made Melee, and then they made Brawl and the Wii U one now, and it's just like they aren't going for those and he made those sort of easier because he said Melee was too hard. And then, but yeah, like the fighting community, do they not want other people? Is it sort of the gamer thing where it's just like we don't want the casuals, we don't want anyone else playing games because that takes away from us, like comic books back in the days. Like they didn't want comic book stores to become adequately lit and things like that because it's like, no, these are our places, these dark places with the comic books. Now it's all mainstream. Bleh.
I guess to an extent. I mean, it's really weird because it's like within like the gaming community itself, there's like a schism of like people that are just like super wanting it to be more inclusive and whatever, and then people are just like sticking to their guns of like, no, we don't want it to be like that way, and allow these people to, or like not allow these people, but it's just like if it comes at the cost of this, then it's like it's not worth it. It's just like, really annoying.
Sad. Well, I mean, I think in the case of esports, it would benefit everyone. If esports was bigger, they would have more funding, more viewers. So they should, yeah, make more viewers. And then if they're going to take these steps to make more viewers, then it will just make the viewing experience better, I think. It's like, oh, it makes much more sense. And I'm not sitting here blinded by flashes of light.
Yeah, I agree. It's like actually talking about the whole Evo thing. Did you watch any of the streams for the Summer Games Done Quick event that was on Twitch like a while back?
Oh, I heard. Yeah, no, I didn't watch them.
It's really interesting. I was watching. I was like randomly like going like into the stream every now and then. But there was like this dude playing Dust Force or whatever this one time, and like it was really interesting. Like watching it, it felt like it was like an offshoot of esports itself, just because like there'd be moments when he'd be playing and like get through these really hard segments, and then like everybody sitting there watching him and like that was there like live watching him. They'd be like like do this like whole like golf clap thing of like, oh, that was really awesome what he just
Hmm.
did. But like I would like watching it live on the stream, I was like I would know like, oh, okay, that was whatever whatever. But then like the crowd would react of like, oh, golf club. It's like it's really weird. It was really weird. I was like,
Interesting.
this is very interesting. Or just like or not just like Discord, but like all the other like stuff they were streaming. Like I randomly clicked on like there's like this one time they're playing Turtles in Time. I was like, what? It's really actually it's just like really cool just like to watch it to like see people speedrun these games and just like get to do them super
Hmm.
quick. But then it's like the crowd reaction. That's what like I was like, oh, so it's kind of like because I don't know myself. It's like I find it the whole I've just found this whole like let's play culture weird of like, oh, I'm gonna watch the let's play game. So it's like when you see like a gathered crowd of people doing that and then like applauding the person playing, it was just that was a whole other experience. Or
Yeah,
that just
I
takes it to
guess.
another level.
Although, speedruns, I think, are sort of a specialized way of playing. If you're just watching, like most Let's Plays are just people playing regularly or trying to be entertaining while they're playing regularly.
Well, yeah, yeah. I agree with that because like I have this one friend that like plays Resident Evil that's like super awesome and like man, every time I watch him, I'm just like man,
Mm.
that is just insane. Like I was talking
So,
about with the
yeah, like,
Marvel thing, which is like how could someone do that? It's not humanly possible, but he could do it. So I guess in that regard, it's
how do
kind
you
of
think the,
inspiring because it's like oh, I wish I could do that
the,
and be awesome like that. Oh yeah,
yeah,
it's like if you can do it, I can do it. Maybe with enough practice. What were you gonna say, topical?
what did you think about the sort of balance between how much they showed of the players themselves and just the games?
Uh, well, they didn't. Well, as far as like that, it's I can't really. I don't know. It's weird because I don't like. What do you mean exactly? Because besides like showing them on stream and just being like, oh, this is the person playing, they didn't really like interview any of them while I was watching the Evo.
Hmm.
It was just the matches.
I mean, yeah. How would they? Because like when you're watching real sports, you're sort of watching the humans perform, and with esports, it's almost exclusively you're watching their avatars,
Oh yeah,
and so there's sort
yeah. They
of
never do
there's
show
not
them
really,
like manipulating
yeah. I was like,
controllers.
would it? But I'm not sure that would be interesting. Like, would it be
I don't think it
neat
would.
to watch like a guy's hands while they're
I
like?
don't think it would because watching someone play a video game looks the same no matter what game they're playing. Unless they have this like
Well,
weird thing like Self Killing does, where it's like it's completely unorthodox compared to everybody
like the,
else.
the cross hands
Yeah,
thing.
that is so weird.
Huh. Or you think picture in picture would be something like that? If you're like watching a
Possibly,
person's hands
possibly,
on like a small screen?
if there's enough real estate on the screen of the game being
I
played.
guess that's true. Man, I hope someone does it. I think that'd be really great.
Traptical, you should start a Kickstarter. Traptical, it'll be success. Esports is so huge right now.
Esports Center. Wow. I would not even know where to begin. Like this Kickstarter is to pay someone else to figure out how to do this. It would be a lump sum. Because yeah, the budget part escapes me as well. It's like here's the money. Go do it. All right, that's my question for the week. That was fun. Do we
All
have any
right.
news? Not really.
Only a few pieces of news. So Leapfrog is trying to, or not trying, but like making its own game console aimed at keeping kids safe and active. They made some statement about, let's see, I'm not gonna read it, but it was like something like, oh, the console is still not a safe place or area for kids to play games. Too much violence. But well, then I don't know if they said, I don't know if they said that, but it's like, they said something about it's not a safe space, and there's just not the content on there for children. Blah blah blah. So that's interesting. Another challenger approaches. I'll just keep saying that as they just keep on coming because not enough.
Out of all of the B tier challengers, who do you think has the best chance to be king of the B tier?
That's a good question, Tropical. I didn't even think about that. That's well, seeing as Apple has not thrown their hat in the ring yet, I will say Amazon with their whatever it's
The
called,
Fire
Fire.
TV.
Yeah, that thing.
Hmm.
Because they're like, well, we're trying to get people on our thingy, and we got exclusives, even though nobody cares about them.
Apparently, they're going to be selling their own Amazon branded third party peripherals and accessories for the other consoles.
And yeah, after you hearing you say that, it seems like they're in it for the money. So that's a pretty good motivator these days. So yeah, I don't see Ouya being like, oh well, or GameStick or maybe the
Yeah.
Steam Box
What happened?
eventually, but I wouldn't call that B tier. So they're
Yeah,
kind
they're,
of
they're sort of their own thing.
yeah.
Whatever happened to GameStick?
I
Is it
have
still
no idea.
around?
I have no
Yeah,
idea.
it just sort of disappeared. Ouya. Well, I gotta say, like the Ouya All Access Pass has me playing Ouya, which is not something I could say like 2 weeks ago. So in that sense, it's working. I'm starting to think that maybe they did it just for that reason. Like if everyone's not playing their Ouyas, then they're never, the Ouya's dead. So even like this way, there's sort of a bit more confidence for developers. Like, yeah, look, people are playing their Ouyas, and if they have all access pass, then it's more likely that you'll sell your game. And I don't know how the economics work out in the long term, but for right now, that means developers are getting paid for their Ouya games, and Ouya is getting played, so they're not dead.
I think the problem, or I reckon not the problem, but like one of the main problems with the Ouya is it's supposed to be like super open source and indie friendly, but it seems like that that is like it's not being so restricted of like you can't have games like that on console anymore. So it's kind of I wouldn't say backfire, but it's just not really so much something they can tout as like, oh, these games that you want to play on Ouya can't play anywhere else now. It's like, because
Yeah,
especially with the growth of Steam Greenlight and stuff like that on Steam, it's like you can just easily look on Steam and or anywhere else on PC, and it's like, oh, look at all these crazy out there games that you can't get on console. So, and even on the console space, it's like, oh, indie games are rising. So it's kind of like that ship kind of sailed.
it's funny because originally it would have been, oh, no one, you can't get on a console, get on Ouya. And so Ouya's hope was indies would make really good games and they would come to Ouya by default because, they couldn't be anywhere else. But now, if you make a really good indie game, the consoles want you and then you're going to be on them. And then you're just like, why would I be on Ouya? It's such a small install base. And
Yeah, and if you look
so
at
they
like
can only get the B tier really good games.
yeah, and like even if you look at everybody's gone to the Rapture or the Witness or No Man's Sky, it's like you even get like highlighted by consoles of like, oh well, this is on our platform, it's not on our competitor's platform, and it's something you
Yeah.
can't really play anything else. There's nothing else like it because it's so unique and like an indie game. Yeah, indies have won. Oh, other news story. This is like the last one because there's not a lot of news this week, like we totally said a while ago. Project Cars on Wii U won't come out until 2015. Well, where hopefully it doesn't get lost in the shuffle of everything else coming out in 2015. You know,
Very sad. Though I think it's okay. Wii U owners, you guys, or sorry, us, we have lots of games
especially after
and
E3.
they're good. So we're
Not
good.
only do you have lots of games, you have lots of games to look forward to, which is all that matters.
Yeah.
Because in the video
Oh
game
man,
industry,
Mario Kart.
there is no off season. Every day, every week, every month, something awesome happening in the gaming space.
Yep.
Unless it's something getting canceled or delayed. But hey, they'll come out eventually unless it's canceled. So at least there's that. Oh,
Oh, I guess there
also,
was also
oh, go ahead.
sorry, the Evo news. Tekken 7 got
Oh
announced
yeah,
after it got leaked. Apparently, it's gonna be on Unreal Engine 4.
yeah. They didn't say what
It
platform
seems like
or
yeah, they didn't
when
say
it's
what
coming out.
platform. According to the trailer that they showed, it seems like maybe it's the last
I
one.
don't think it is. I think
No.
that's just a tease. Because if you look at Tekken 6, or is it Tekken 5? Tekken 5, it was all Heihachi Mishima's dead. He ain't dead. He hasn't been dead. That was just a publicity stunt. Just like this is a publicity stunt. Don't
Mm,
be fooled.
that sucks. Or I don't know. The other thing they showed, they announced Raiden is going to be in Mortal Kombat X. Not unexpected, but we did get to see some gameplay of him. It looks like there are different. It's either different stances or different maybe modes or versions because they showed three different modes of Raiden. Did you watch it?
I haven't seen it.
Okay. Yeah, it was like one is the Thunder God mode, which seemed most like normal Raiden with the like that dash thing he does through the air and like that. Then there was like a sort of a teleporting Raiden who does a lot of the teleport moves, and then there was a like a trap orientated Raiden, and he could just place balls of lightning and stuff.
I think that's the other
I
thing.
don't know what that was.
Or going back to Evo real quick, like that was the other thing. Like I was like while I was watching, I was like, yeah, that's like another thing I'll never be like as awesome. Is like if you look at every character in the game, you have to like know the pros and cons and like weaknesses
Mm.
and the strengths, and it's just like a giant calculator in your brain that you must have of like if you're in this matchup against this character, how do you counter this? It's just like yeah, because I was watching the Killer Instinct one, and it was like Justin Wong. He fought like he was using Saberwolf, but he was fighting another Saberwolf that played completely different, and then he got to the next round and fought a Glacier that was playing a style that was basically shutting down his Saberwolf. It was just crazy. It was like so good to
Wow.
watch. Just like the way he adapted to like the fighting styles and like to be able to over. Actually, did he lose to Glacier? I think he might have lost to Glacier. But yeah, it was cool how like he had to like counter pick against that character to be like, well, if he's using Saberwolf like this, I have to use this character like this to keep him away from me and then win. So that was pretty awesome.
Huh.
But then like you have to apply that to every fighting game and every character, and it's just like my head just exploded after I saw it. I was like, dude, I could never be that good. Like, yeah, just no longer the man, because oh yeah, that was awesome.
Crazy.
Especially in games like Marvel, where it's like three-person on a three character teams. It's like not even 1v1. It's 3v3. It's like, yeah, have fun with that math in your brain in real time. Ugh, no thanks.
That's what we need. Well, oh, maybe watching Evo will be better once all of the top players from now retire and become commentators because they know everything. And I'm not necessarily convinced that the commentators do.
That's a good point. Actually, it's funny since like there's always retired or no longer playing NFL players doing commentary
Yeah.
with their anecdotes and stuff. That's always fun.
That's how it should be.
Is that all the news?
I think so.
Okay, that's all I got.
All right. Well, then check us out, aimlesspodcast.com. Thanks for listening, by the way, if you're on Twitch or YouTube, both of which we're on. And if you don't know when that is, follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
And then also, I think the Twitch stream crapped out. Like whatever, it came back. So like halfway through, this is gonna be a two-parter on YouTube. Whatever. The Pamela, however, was like stayed strong, so it never craps out. So
Amazing.
and then also, I am working on getting some more RAM in this computer, so hopefully everything will be 100% and no issues later on. But yeah, so will RPG return next episode? Will we find out his whereabouts? Will Chapter Cole finish a game? Will Tekken finally get through Mass Effect? Well, actually, Oh, I had one more news. It was that on Bungie's Twitter feed, they're like Destiny beta going live in a couple of hours or only a couple more hours. Stay strong. So I'm really hoping that at midnight I can just download it and not have to worry about like a certain time tomorrow. But we'll see. But yeah,
That'd be awesome.
find out what I've been up to in Destiny beta on the next episode of Aimless or what? Yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah, beta. Yeah, Aimless Babble Z.